Now to a massive shift in the United States government's drug policy. That's our national lead today. Sources are telling CNN that the Biden administration is moving to reclassify marijuana from a class 1 drug, along with cocaine and heroin and the like, to a class 3. The decision to move marijuana out of the same class as drugs such as heroin and bath salts will bring huge implications for research on the potential medical benefits of marijuana, huge impact on criminal justice, huge impact on federal banking regulations and the U.S. economy, as it's already a multi-billion-dollar industry. CNN's Kayla Tausche is at the White House for us. Kayla, lay out how this reclassification will work.
Well, essentially, Jake, it's the latest step in a multi-year process that President Biden initiated in the fall of 2022 when he instructed the Departments of Health and Human Services and the Justice Department to begin a review of whether this rescheduling should happen, whether marijuana should be classified, as you said, with cocaine and heroin or with the likes of Tylenol, to study the health benefits of that. And in August of 2023, HHS did tell DOJ, and specifically the Drug Enforcement Agency, that it had found that there were medical benefits. Since then, DOJ has been preparing a draft rule on this, and I'm told by a source familiar with the matter, has submitted that to the Office of Management and Budget today to begin a regulatory review process. So yes, this is a major move, and it will bring major shifts to how the drug is classified, how these criminal offenses are treated, which President Biden has twice now been pardoning these simple offenses, but it is still going to take months for it to take effect, Jake.
So, Kayla, as of 2023, Gallup polling shows half of the American people have tried marijuana, weed, grass, cannabis, pot, whatever the kids call it these days. It is worth noting, I know that I'm skeptical by nature, it is worth noting that we are in a presidential election year. The legalization of marijuana is popular among young voters. And this announcement is coming, as President Biden is in trouble right now, according to polls, especially with young voters. Am I too cynical to be looking at the polling numbers when I look at this decision?
Well, Jake, personally, I appreciate that you're asking me for the views of the kids, even though I'm a few years outside of that age bracket. But it's true that this is not necessarily a mobilizing issue for the 18 to 34-year-old voters, but it is widely popular. The legalization of marijuana, 70% support it, 79% within that age bracket. And it should be noted that President Biden campaigned on this in 2020, so he'll be able to go back and say, I said I would do it, and I did. But not just Biden, Jake. It would also be something that HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra could talk about if he decides to run for governor of California in 2026.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so you one-upped me on the skepticism.
The Biden administration is moving to loosen federal regulations on marijuana. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. The plan would reverse a 50-year precedent and reclassify marijuana as a Schedule III drug, which means it has low or moderate potential for dependence. It's currently a Schedule I drug. Now, remember, that's the same category as substances like heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. Jeff Zeleny is in Washington, D.C., and has been following this for us. And Jeff, if you can just put this in context for us in terms of what this reclassification means, because we're talking about this in kind of technical terms, but it's, to use two words, a big deal.
It is a very big deal, Paula. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, is going to be presenting this rule to the government, basically the Office of Management and Budget, to prevent a time for open comment. So there is a long time before this is going to go into effect. But with the Attorney General signing off on this, it's really a historic step. And here is why. For 50 years, as you said, marijuana has been a Schedule I drug. That means it has no medical use, and it is in a much higher classification. It's already been legalized in 38 states here in the U.S. and the District of Columbia. So there's long been an odds with the federal law and the state law. This is largely designed to bring those two together. But it's been a campaign promise of President Biden when he was running the first time. He talked about this in the State of the Union address address just a couple months ago, he said that he would expunge convictions. He said you shouldn't go to jail simply for using. So what this is going to be is really a monumental shift should all this get approved. Now, there's no saying that this will be done by Election Day because, again, this is the federal government at work, so there has to be a months-long approval process getting public comment. But, Paula, this is one of the rare things in Washington and government that crosses party lines. In many states, including red states, conservative states here in the U.S., there have been legalization. So this is really long overdue in the eyes of many. But it's also opening the door to a huge business that cannabis has become here in Washington and, of course, all across the country.
Yeah, Jeff, we had some of the stocks, the rise in some of the cannabis stocks. We had it up earlier, really tremendous growth there. We're seeing Canopy up by 78%. I don't have a lot of time left, but I know you're all about the political calculus on this. You just told us it was a campaign promise. Do you think it might help with younger segment of voters that Biden needs?
Look, I think there's no doubt that younger voters will like this, but also, again, across the board, many older users, older voters also use medical marijuana. So largely, this is something that the Biden administration believes is past due, and of course, they believe it will have a political benefit as well. They say that's not why it's being done. If it was being done for that reason, it would have been done long ago. It's one of those things that takes some time here. More interestingly, Paula, I want to see what Donald Trump has to say about this, because he's been a little squishy on this. And again, some Republicans support this as well.